The Aesthetic Podcast from Local Women Magazine. This podcast is brought to you by BTL Ireland, supporting clinics with aesthetic solutions.
Hello and welcome to the Aesthetic Magazine podcast, where I'm here today with Avril. Avril is the operations manager of BTL in Ireland, and she's also a midwife as well. Avril is an expert on the BTL device EMSELLA. Hello.
Hello, it's so lovely to be here with you today. I'm absolutely thrilled.
So yeah, tell us about EMSELLA. It's one of those devices that I don't think many people will have heard of.
So it's really, really interesting. So my kind of story is interesting, how I even got involved with the company. So I worked as a midwife for a number of years, and then I ran my own business, and I've always been extremely passionate about women's health, pelvic floor health, and also the underestimation of some health issues such as incontinence. And then I heard a number of years ago about this thing called BTL EMSELLA that was promising to have these kind of absolutely revolutionary effects. And it was a chair that you sat in fully clothed, and it was magic. So I have to say, putting my science hat on, I was pretty suspicious. So I asked to see all of their papers, and I was blown away by the science behind it. So I met up with Dee, and I actually got the treatment myself, because there's nothing like trying something out. And at the time I had no affiliation with BTL, or it was literally, would I recommend this? I always think, would you recommend it to your sister? Would you recommend it to your mom? You know, is it something? And I was blown, like it simply is incredible. So what it is that it works on high FEM technology, which stands for high intensity focused electromagnetic. So people have probably heard of an MRI machine. So it is a similar energy to that. And what BTL did was they saw that continence and continence issues are massive. So in, for example, in the female population in a lifetime, about 40 to 45% of women will have some sort of continence issue throughout their life. That's massive. That's nearly half of us. And if you are older, that increases. After you have kids, that increases. So it affects a massive amount of people. But it is not something that we are necessarily good at talking about, and certainly not very good at treating, because traditionally it was a very difficult thing to treat. For example, you would have to do a couple of 100 Kegel, which is the exercise that you do.
And who has time for that?
But it's not even that, it's about doing it correctly as well, because you're talking about the pelvic floor is if you think of it like a basket of muscles, and it's strapped from one side of the pelvis to the other, and it basically holds up everything above it. So it's really, really important. But obviously age, gravity, having kids, but just generally like being upright means that your pelvic floor takes an awful battering throughout your life. And as a result of that, in the UK and Ireland, we would be some of the top users of incontinence pads, and you always see the advertisements. So it's a massive issue, and we, person to person, aren't great at talking about it and having those sorts of conversations. So what the EMSELLA does is that it uses this technology. It looks like a chair. It's really, really comfortable. You sit on it fully clothed, and then you have a treatment. The treatment is 28 minutes long. So literally you could do it on your lunch break, and you would start off with a protocol that you would do 6 to 8 treatments. So you would do 2 treatments a couple of days apart, for a couple of weeks. And the results of what that does. So if you tried, I don't know, if you were amazing and tried to do a couple of 100 Kegels a day, if you've time, what this does, it does over 11,000 pulsations or Kegel type tightenings of your pelvic floor in that 28 minutes. And show me the person that couldn't benefit from 11,000 Kegels. So it's amazing. And what we then did further research on it. So initially it was FDA approved for female continence, and then we studied male continence. and it was FDA and CE approved for that as well. And really interestingly, for male issues, which are a lot to do with the prostate, this device is suitable to be used post-prostatectomy. So people that have had prostate issues, enlarged prostate, or even prostate removal, or have had cancer treatment, it is suitable for them. And so what we have is a device that is suitable for both men and women, that it radically can improve your continence, and it works on all of the different types of continence. And also recently, it has also been approved for sexual function in both males and females.
Oh, we like that.
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
I think that, talk more about that. Yeah. Would love to hear.
I think as well, we can be very sometimes reserved about talking about issues that affect so many of us, like continence, like sexual function in both men and women. And it can be a really awkward conversation. People assume that after a certain age that you will have some level of continence issues, or that if you've had your prostate removed, that you are just going to have incontinence issues or sexual function issues. And that's not true. This amazing device can radically improve those areas. But more than that, it gives people back confidence. Incontinence is lack of confidence as well. If you have ever suffered with an incontinence issue, it can have a massive impact on your life. What you wear, where you go, constantly looking around to see where a bathroom is, not being able to enjoy daily activities that you normally would. And a lot of women and men think that that's normal and are just accepting of the fact that, well, there's nothing I can do. And this amazing device means very simply, non-invasively, it can make this radical improvement. So what it does is it basically bypasses the brain bit, because it basically works on the muscle itself. And what it feels like is that it works between kind of 8 and 10 centimeters. So it basically sends, for, if you will, kind of an energy pulse. And what it feels like is almost like a tapping. That's all.
It's not uncomfortable or anything?
No, it's an unusual sensation, because there is nothing like it.
I would like to.
But it is not uncomfortable in the slightest. You can continue a totally normal, we have it in the office, and I have to say we're addicted to it because it's amazing.
And so just on your lunch break?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what's brilliant about it. And also because people can be very awkward or uncomfortable about maybe to go to see a physio or a women's health physio, or to even talk to their GP about it. This is a totally non-invasive treatment. So it means that you can have the treatment, and for the vast majority of people, there's a massive improvement. If you didn't have a great improvement, that means that there's a deeper issue that needs to be investigated. But it cannot do any harm to you. So it cannot make anything worse. All it can do is improve. And that's what's so special about it. And the fact that it can now be used across the gambit. So it's so safe, accessible. And again, to hammer home that point that it's for everybody. And then our recent studies on sexual function, which is the really exciting thing, particularly for women, when you hit various stages in your life, when you are, like me, middle-aged and perimenopausal, the go-to word, sexual function can really drop down. There's hormonal issues to that, but there's also physical issues. So the vaginal wall and tissues atrophy, which means that they age, so they thin out. And what this amazing device does is it bolsters the whole muscular part of your pelvic floor. So it increases blood flow. And with that, we found the results of that, which were initially the device was for continence, but we actually found people were coming back to say that their sex lives had greatly improved, that they had greater sensation, that they had greater feeling, that they were more quick to orgasm. So we studied it.
And I can imagine everyone's marriage is going to improve after that.
It's also about how you feel. After a certain age, sometimes people, similar to expecting that they're going to have to wear continence pads, they expect that somehow their sex life has to degrade with age. And that just isn't the case.
No, not at all.
And we have this magic machine that can make you feel, and I mean, it's a quid pro quo. If you feel more confident, you're going to be able to continue being more confident, and that's what it's about. So that's why I love it so much. And so then, circling back, I studied the machine, met Dee, who is our managing director, and I was just so inspired by her vision, not only for the EMSELLA, but the attitude of BTL, which is about creating these amazing devices that don't just help one section of society or one person, but that are beneficial to everybody because they're non-invasive. We're not adding anything. We're actually helping your body to promote its own healing and build up that muscle. And then 2 years later, the job opened up as operations manager. So I took it with both hands, and working with this company and promoting this device has just been an absolute joy.
And I've heard so many success stories about EMSELLA, and a couple of celebrities who have praised it as well. Tell me about some.
You probably know Vogue Williams, and she's a massive proponent of it. And what we also found is that instead of us, encouraging people to use the device to say it's great, we would say use the device and tell us if it is. Mm-hmm. And everyone just absolutely is mad about it. They absolutely love it. But some of the statistics are pretty amazing. So for women, for example, it can increase your ability to orgasm by about 60%. Which is kind of life-changing for a lot of people.
It's improving your quality of life when you get over a certain age.
And for men as well. So it can increase the length of your erection, as in time. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about size. We're not that magic.
Oh my God.
But the actual,
that's too bad.
It greatly increases the satisfaction of people's sex lives, and also again works on that confidence issue. If you know you've had something that's going to be successful, you will find success in it as well. And the fact that it's non-invasive, so when people have had certain treatments, or if they've had babies, or if they've had prostate cancer, the last thing that a lot of people want is somebody, invasively going into what it can be a very tender and very personal area. So it is the equivalent of you and I sitting here having this conversation, and we could be using the EMSELLA right now. And that's what's so brilliant about it. So we are taking the absolute shame out of all of these issues like continence, erectile dysfunction, and giving people back their confidence. And that's what's so brilliant about it.
What's the youngest, who's the youngest patient that's ever got EMSELLA?
It's safe to use in adults. Mm-hmm. So, and there have, unfortunately, some people do have issues quite young. It can also be used, so as I said, everybody can be doing with improving their pelvic floor. Everybody. Like, show me the person that can't. So people that are perhaps going for fertility treatment, mm-hmm. they might do a course of EMSELLA before their treatment as part of the overall improving their overall health and well-being.
It sounds so exciting, and it sounds like it's the future.
We'll have to get you to have a twirl as well.
I'll have to come down to one of your clinics.
It's like when you suggest to people going to the gym or looking after yourself. You're not, when you have a problem, this can really help solve a problem. But it can also be for people to prevent a problem. So, if you have a slight bit of incontinence and use the EMSELLA, you're going to have an amazing result. And if you've no continence at all and you improve your pelvic floor, you're going to reduce your risk of having issues later on. That's just that's the science. So that's what's so exciting about it. So I always say to people, always think that your pelvic floor is your basket of life. You don't think about it, but it is working for you every day of your life. And if you look after it, and it will look after you. And if there is an issue, there are things that we can do, and you don't have to go in and have internal examinations and anything like that. But as I said, if the EMSELLA was to not improve things, that's a real sign that you would then need to go.
I suppose that's taking the pressure off the NHS as well, because maybe someone would think, I need to go to my doctor for this, but if they go and try the EMSELLA and things improve, they won't need to go to their GP.
And also for waiting lists and things like that, again, because women's health generally, there's a massive lack of investment into it. And for both men and women, pelvic floor health there is very little investment, and that's what's so amazing about BTL, that they saw this as an issue, recognised it, and revolutionised how we deal with it. And also to say there are, the EMSELLA is the original and the technology is patented. There are other machines that would claim to do similar things, but it is the original and the absolute best. And we have all of the papers and all of the science to back it up, because at my core, I'm still a midwife. I'm a scientist, I'm science-based. I would never recommend anything to anyone unless I have read every single thing you can think of. And I would never suggest to anyone, particularly about something so important and so precious, to do anything that would have a negative impact on them. Mm-hmm. But for me, when I heard about it, I thought it was too good to be true.
And they say if something's too good to be true, it normally is. Yes.
And that's why I was really suspicious of it. So I did all of my due diligence, and I've read every single thing that you can think of. And we've, it's been around now in Ireland, both north and south, for 5 years. So we are now seeing people recommending it to their neighbours, their friends, their husbands, their wives, their sisters, everybody. And that's what's so brilliant about it. And it's really the ripple effects of the positivity of it for something that appears to be so simple, as in to use, and doesn't hurt. Yeah. And you don't have to take your clothes off. And you're just sitting there.
It sounds absolutely amazing, but I'm sure people will be listening to this and go, where can I find this?
So there's some amazing clinics in Northern Ireland, and if you are looking for a clinic, we have a clinic locator. So you just go on, we can put it in the notes. So it's BTL clinic locator, and it will tell you just put in your address and it'll tell you your nearest clinic. They're all over Northern Ireland. So yeah, and they are, honestly, I know it sounds too good to be true, and I was that person. I was very suspicious, as I am with most things. I really like to read the evidence and also my own story. It is that good.
So, bottom line, if you want a better sex life,
yes,
and
you don't want to wear nappies when you're 60,
exactly,
and you want to use a trampoline for the rest of your life.
You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? that is the bottom line.
Trampolines are for everybody, not just for kids. But we laugh about it, but if you talk to people that have been affected by these issues, and then you talk to them after them having a successful, 6 to 8 treatments, so within 3 weeks, a month, that their life is radically improved, that's amazing. And I would just love more people to know about it, so that we can help more people.
Thank you so much, Avril. I really appreciate you coming on.
Oh, it's been
and hopefully our audience did as well. Hopefully they learned something.
Also, we'll get you down for you to try it yourself, and you'll be a convert too.
Yes, I will. I'm sure I will.
The Aesthetic Podcast from Local Women Magazine. This podcast is brought to you by BTL Aesthetics Ireland, supporting clinics with aesthetic solutions.